Good afternoon, everybody. Plenty of friendly faces in the audience, something I'm probably going to need for this talk. Today, I'm going to be talking about whether we adopt a problem-first or a solution-first approach when choosing what legal technology to implement. And I'm going to use two lenses to analyze that. The first one's going to be profitability, and the second one is going to be kitchen gadgets. So, I'd like to introduce you to my sous vide machine. This is something that I bought a few years ago. What does it do? Some of you may be looking at this going, what does it do? Some of you know what it does. It cooks food to 0.1 of a degree centigrade accuracy. It was promised to be the great piece of restaurant technology that was going to be brought to the humble man in his kitchen. And I bought it after seeing a number of media articles about them, got really excited about them, had a friend who bought one. And for me, this represents the piece of legal technology that you bought because the media got excited about it, that you bought because perhaps your board got excited about it. And for me, where does it sit? Well, unfortunately, despite all its sort of Wi-Fi connectivity, its app, and its big promised excitement, it sits firmly in the cupboard and very much does not come out very often. So for me, it's also the epitome of a solution-first piece of technology. It's something that we bought because I liked the solution because the media got excited about. And I think that's something that we need to think about when we're choosing legal technology. And I think if we start with a solution, we're unlikely to make ourselves more profitable, and we're going to end up with things that sit in the cupboard. Okay, so next up, I have my next concoction. So this is some pieces from my molecular gastronomy kit. And in here, I have a herb infusion with some spinach. It's been blended, reduced, and mixed with sodium alginate, which is a seaweed extract. And here I have a bath of calcium lactate solution. And what we can do is we can dribble the sodium alginate herb reduction into the calcium lactate bath. And as we create these little drops, and if I go a little bit faster, we can create some little worms as well. You get this sort of hard layer forming on the outside of the sodium alginate herb reduction. And we produce these little drops, and we get a kind of like vegan caviar. So, haven't got very long for the reaction to occur. I up the chemical doses to make it happen quickly for you. But I think we can fish these little guys out. And it's probably going to be pretty hard to see, but we have these little kind of caviar balls that have a really nice kind of texture, a little bit like kind of bubble tea or something like that. So why am I showing it to you? Well, for me, this is another piece of solution-focused purchasing. So why did I buy this one? Well, it satisfied a deep intellectual curiosity that I had. And I think as legal technologists, a lot of us have this intellectual curiosity. There's something intrinsically interesting about a particular solution that we like because it appeals to our intellectual mindset and the way we like to solve problems. Does it solve a problem that exists? Well, possibly not. Maybe Heston Blumenthal would argue differently, but I would sort of put this in the category of something that doesn't really solve a problem. And these are edible. There's a flavor of unprofitable legal technology. This is something that is going to end up sitting in the cupboard for much as it's fun to do. Again, starting with a solution-focused piece of technology, even if it's something that we find intrinsically interesting, even if it's something we enjoy, it ends up being something that sits in the cupboard. So what should we do? I think we should adopt a problem-focused approach. Well, we start with a problem. This is an egg. I like egg sandwiches. This is this is an egg slicer. I showed it to some of the younger members of my team who convinced me it's an avocado slicer. I'm like, no, this is an egg slicer. It was an absolute 80s classic. It's pretty easy to use. The problem is that the egg needs slicing. What does it do? Well, you put it in and pull this kind of cheese wire down over the egg. And there we go. We have our beautifully, evenly sliced egg. There we go. a sliced egg. So it solves a problem. I think that's a good start. It gets put in the drawer, and it gets used occasionally. And for me, it's good because it solves a problem, but it's a niche problem. And it's a problem that doesn't happen that often. that we need to slice eggs. I mean, there is potentially someone out there with an egg sandwich shop that needs eggs sliced all of the time. And certainly in legal technology, we get particular individuals within our organizations or particular customers who have niche use cases that can shout incredibly loudly. Sometimes they can be very powerful people or very noisy people. And they say, you absolutely must solve my problem. It's a real problem, and this is a good solution to it. But when we're looking at technology and we put our profitability lens on, I think we need to go back again and think, is this a problem that's broad enough? Is this a problem that's going to solve enough people's problems to implement? So finally, I would like to introduce you to my favorite piece of kitchen technology, or at least as close as they'd let me pass security with. Really big thank you to Sophie on my team, who has made a foam cutout knife for me. But this is as close as we can get to my trusty kitchen knife. It cuts, it pares, it slices, it dices, it juliennes absolutely beautifully. And where does it live? Well, it barely ever leaves the kitchen counter. It solves an enormous problem that every single meal I basically need to cut something, I need to cook, I need to slice something and push it into the pan. It is very much my most used piece of technology. Is it the most exciting? Probably not. Does it satisfy an intellectual curiosity? Probably not. But it gets used, and in law firm terms, I think it solves a lot of problems for a lot of people and makes us much more profitable. So, in summary, I would say when we're looking at legal technology to implement or projects to implement, think about which kitchen gadget we are using and implementing. Start with the problem, make sure that there is a problem to be solved, and make sure that that problem is a big, widespread problem. And if we do that, we can make a lot of people happier, and we can make our organizations much more profitable as well. Thank you very much. If anyone's enjoyed the if anyone's enjoyed the conversation. If anyone's enjoyed the conversation, I'm at the stand. I'd love to carry on the conversation. We have brownies at the stand, and you'll be pleased to know that they're not something I've cooked. Look forward to talking to many of you soon.